details, please, with your hosts, Emmanuel and Angela Williams, where we dive deeper into conversations with visionary entrepreneurs to discover what it takes to turn passion into purpose. Listen to real-world stories from self-starters and trailblazers, and discover strategies and innovations shaping a greener future. Whether you are a seasoned business person or just starting out, let this be your go-to resource for inspiration and actionable tips for success. Join us now as we create a brighter, greener future together.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on More Details, Please, where we celebrate curious minds and entrepreneurship. I am Angela Williams.
And Emmanuel Williams.
And today we're going to be talking about when customers become your teacher. So this topic, it feels great and it fits well with our season and our theme, which is all about learning and keeping our minds alert and alive. Right, Emmanuel?
Absolutely. And I just want people to know that this is a podcast where we speak to entrepreneurs, and the purpose of this podcast is for to learn from people to turn from that has turned their passion into purpose. And we as entrepreneurs, it is very important to understand that plight because I believe that that's where a lot of our blessings flows from. And yes, we are in business to make money, but we make a big difference in the world. We influence a lot of people, we hire people. And I just want entrepreneurs that is on this journey with us to just keep in mind that helping people and turning your passion into purpose is a big part of your blessings.
All right. And later, we're going to welcome our special guest, Rachel Nelson, founder of Concetti, a Detroit based interior design company. I love that Rachel has a people friendly mindset in business where we, as detail experts, we share that same mindset. And we think the conversation is going to be a great one. So let's talk about when the customer becomes your teacher. What do you really learn when you listen to your customers, Emmanuel?
Well, I would start off by saying people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I think that is like the number one thing when it comes to interacting and with your clients. They want to know that you care. And so in our process of understanding that, we kind of, Angela and I, we have like a toolkit. We call it our Nuggets of Wisdom toolbox. And this Nugget of Wisdom toolbox is literally tools that people, entrepreneurs, or just people in general can use and plug in and use these tools as a way of helping them deal with situations and circumstances. I'm an engineer, I'm a power plant engineer, and it's really important for me to have a toolbox. And it's really important for my toolbox to be organized. It's really important for me to understand what tools do I need in certain situations where I can pull that tool out and help me achieve my objective. And so our nugget of wisdom toolbox today, we was just kind of going through the toolbox, and I said, okay, what I think the ego is a tool that we're going to use today and trying to help entrepreneurs turn their passion into purpose and using it as a tool. And the reason why I say the ego, because the this conversation is really about customers and teachers, being able to learn from our customers and our customers learning from us. But I think the biggest, one of the most important customers that we can learn from is our ego.
Yeah, the when you think about business itself, you're solving a problem for the customer. So this stems from the very basics in business. If you're going to be in business and be sustainable in business, you have to solve a problem. And sometimes it's a problem a customer they don't even know that they have. So this is a big learning lesson here. And the idea is you provide a solution, you make their lives easier, and you're going to make your customers happy. And that works in business and it works in our personal lives as well.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the ego because the ego, it absorbs most of our time because the ego and the mind are intertwined with each other. And when you get control of your mind, if you get control of your ego, then you become more aware of your surroundings. You become more aware of what's going on inside of you. You become a more aware of your emotions. And then as a result of that, you can be a more effective either teacher and or student.
Well, if you have a happy customer, they keep coming back too. So the key lesson is to listen and to observe. So we have questions that makes us curious. So if the customer may ask the question of in our business, where does the dirt go? I mean, we used to hear that all the time when a customer wants to know using a steam method, how do you actually get a car clean? And being able to show them that process, it brought light and it also brought a connection and ongoing conversation. But you can't learn if you don't ask the question. So we want to definitely embrace that need for more details, please. Right, Emmanuel?
Absolutely. And when you're dealing with your ego, you're dealing with your intentions. And when you're dealing with your intentions, it's really important to have the right intentions and understand the needs of your clients. When you understand the needs of your clients and you have the right intention, then even if the client is not a good client for you, then you will refer that client to someone that can suit them better. A lot of our relationships with clients and people, if we could not help them the way that we can effectively help them, we refer them to someone else. And so that is part of being a teacher to the students sometimes by referring them to other people or other services that they can provide that's going to suit them best.
Yeah, after nearly 25 years in starting a car wash, the goal was to make a difference. So we wanted to create something that was eco-friendly and it avoided a whole lot of water wastage. So we innovated the steam technology to help protect this precious resource and the planet. So we have a people friendly, eco friendly solution. But another valuable lesson that our customers have taught us is they love convenience. We're mobile, people are busy. So we go to them. They don't have time to stand in the line in a car wash. So, from our standpoint, we wanted to offer the concierge valet service of providing services at a place that was convenient for them, their home, their place of work, or where they play. Could be the golf course or wherever. Problem solved. We offer a successful mobile detailing service not only for cars, but for spaces as well in commercial cleaning services. So we definitely bring a greener clean.
And one of the things that, we thought about in our process of building our business, we was able to find our niche. And people say, well, how would you able to do car washing, but travel all over the world and have clients all over the world and have franchises all over the world? And it's because another part of our, I would say, um, concept to um, attract a client is water. When we started to focus on unique ways of saving water, but providing a high quality service, that right there put us in a situation where we're over in the Middle East. They said, we have all of the money, but we don't have water. And what we have been able to do is develop a way of cleaning vehicles with 2 gallons of water. We can clean as many as 15 cars. And being able to overcome that hurdle in our industry allowed us to franchise where we're not restricted by water regulations and rules and things of that nature. And we can add a totally different, unique twist to cleaning vehicles, which means that what we was able to do was to dress up in white shirts and bow ties. We wanted to be like the good humor van and have these steamers and be able to go knock on people's doors and steam clean their cars and all of this steam and no water and where the dirt goes and all of that kind of good stuff. So that had became our differentiator because a big part of our passion is greenness and preserving water for our future generation.
So, of lesson one, customers want you to solve a problem. Lesson two is customers want to feel loved. I mean, Mayo said earlier, people don't really, they want to know that you care. So everyone likes to feel special and seen. Customers are no different in that way.
Yes, and then another thing in terms of customer learning from your customer, you being a teacher and you being a student is you have to be humble. You can't be a know-it-all. You have to be willing to be able to grow and to learn because a lot of people learn from you by you being their student. A lot of people learn from you just by your humility. We travel all over the world and we have employees all over the country. And as the CEO of the company, I've been so like detached from the working aspect of cleaning vehicles, but at the same time, I realized that I can make a very powerful statement when we go to Indiana or Chattanooga or different areas where we interact with our technicians that is out there in the field. And one of the things that I find that is really, really effective is I roll up my sleeves and I get down in the dirt and clean vehicles and I do whatever it is required with with the troops on the ground. And it's really a very powerful transformation in two ways. In that we build a stronger alliance, build a deeper respect with each other, and I get to learn some things that they have figured out that I couldn't figure out. And at the same time, that makes me a better detailer just in case I decided I want to do some more detailing or whatever. So, for me as the CEO of the company to be next to my guys or the girls that's out there, it just build a bond that is so unique where we really not only learn but share from each other as well.
Emma, you just brought up something that's significant that I think is worth highlighting. When we say customer, we're talking about the interior customer and the exterior customer. So what do I mean by that? The employee is the customer on the inside. And definitely the person that you are providing a service to, that is your exterior customer. But what we know for sure is that customers will tell you what they like, but equally important, they'll tell you what they don't like. And the good thing is it's not complicated. It's just a bit of thought and attention to detail. So here are some examples. Take a minute and talk to your customers. Communication is everything. I have found that that simple conversation will tell you so much what's working and what's not working. And the nugget, the small change that you can make in your business that could be the difference between floating in the business, making lots of money, or not making a whole lot of money at all. And customers are often creatures of habit. So find out what service and products they like. But don't be afraid to introduce new things either, because that is important. I remember as we started expanding our business, we would send a newsletter out to our customers. And I ran into a customer. He said, "Well, hey, you guys moved, right? You moved out of the state." But the idea is we didn't move, we just added a new operation, but that wasn't clear, and some customers thought we had left them and were no longer available. So having those conversations, are just as simple to let customers know, "Hey, I'm still here." You can also offer personalized service. This is what makes a difference. For us, we have found that when we can offer services to a customer where they are, we provided services in Indianapolis at the Circle Center Mall. There, all of the attorneys, bankers, and other employees that worked right there in that complex, we were able to be in the garage where they parked their car. We could clean their vehicle while they were at work, which made it very personalized and convenient for them. Or other things are like a dedicated day of detailing. Customers, that became a situation where one of our corporate customers decided that they wanted to offer it as an additional benefit to their employees, where we would come out and clean their vehicles right there while they were at work. This builds loyalty, but also create a loyalty program. Give customers a reason to keep coming back and give them something special. But more so than anything, I would say be consistent. You want to show up, give them a high quality experience every single time, because then they will perceive the value for the money that they are spending with you. But nothing at all beats hard work, and the results will definitely show. So it doesn't come overnight. And we're proud that we've been voted America's top 3 customer service provider in the auto industry repeatedly.
Well, that is really interesting because in our journey as entrepreneurs, sometimes we can just get so caught up into that role that we lose ourselves um, in our relationships and being imbalanced in life. So, with that being said, it's very important that as an entrepreneur, it's just as important to spend your time and learn from customers. And at the same time, you are a husband, you are a mother, you are a sister, you are a brother. So, as entrepreneurs, you can be effective in your business and ineffective in other areas in your life. And what we're saying, based on our knowledge and based on our experiences, is that it's really about balance all the way around because that is what makes you a great entrepreneur.
It's that tricky balance because you definitely want to give customers what they want, but you can't get stuck in your ways. You got to be able to know when it's time to innovate and offer other services as well. But what we found that's been consistent for us in the 20 plus years that we've been in business is a high quality service and excellent customer service never go out of fashion.
And one of the things I just want to take pride in is that we have been in business through two of the most critical times in American history when it came to the economy. We was in business in '08 when the economy crashed. We was in business when COVID came along. And it's funny because we have been able to pivot. We have been able to learn who to hold on to, what businesses to hold on to, how to creatively integrate our strength, how to continue to build relationships and it's just that's really what the key to I think a long-term successful business is your ability to recreate and be creative and understand what the where the world is heading and try to be ahead of that curve. So in learning, what we have been able to do is not only watch our clients and our customers, we have been able to watch the politics. We've been able to watch how the world has changed, and we've been able to watch the trend, and we are always in that a present awareness mode of being able to try to get ahead of the curve and see what is the next thing that we could attract ourselves to in order to stay relevant in business.
Yeah, so evolving and growing with your customers is important. It is also key to a beautiful, lasting relationship because one thing Emmanuel said is we found that the same customers that we offer one type of service to, as we had to pivot, that same customer was asking us, hey, do you offer this kind of service? What about this? And for that reason, we have built long lasting relationships with the customers. But here are, go ahead,
Well,
Emmanuel.
and I would say this, innovation is really important because many years before we started in 2000, well, we started our concept in 2002. And back then we was dealing with steam and we was telling people we was steam cleaning the exterior cars, but we was also steam cleaning the interior. And we was telling people how important, how germs and bacteria is cars are having kids and all kinds of stuff we find in cars. And it's important to not only just clean them, but important to sanitize. And so we have been preaching this for many, many, many years. And when COVID came around, it was really interesting because a lot of our clients start saying, hey, do y'all steam clean buildings? Do y'all sanitize this? I mean, and so our business model kind of shifted when COVID came because the same clients that we was steam cleaning their cars, we started steam cleaning their homes, their businesses, and all other areas of their lives. And so that's what helped us to pivot throughout COVID.
Yeah, so we kept up with what the client's needs were, but we also did it when it came to technology. So when our client said you need a mobile booking tool app so that they can schedule an appointment on their phone, that is one of the things. It's like, okay, well, we have to make sure we have an app that's easy to use because really the golden rule is make it easy for them to spend their money with us. Otherwise, they'll go somewhere else. So making sure that we listen to customers and we make those adjustments is important. In the case of we're offering steam cleaning of your vehicles, hey, did you offer enough spaces? If we would have said no, that's not our business. We're not interested in that. They would have went somewhere else. But in this case, we pivoted. But we
And
go ahead.
and that's the thing I think that entrepreneurs have to understand. It's really about being uncomfortable with being comfortable. Comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's really about stepping into your fears and stepping into your uh, non-comfort zone and just being willing to grow. And so you start to develop those muscles in that you step into uncertainty. And as a result of that, to me, I believe that that's the reason why we're here on earth. We're here on earth not just to work and make money and go about our daily lives, but our primary function here on earth is to serve humanity by helping one another and making the world a better place. And as entrepreneurs, this is, I think, it is a unique way of really getting strong and growing and stepping outside your comfort zone and expanding and being a better you.
Yeah. So besides keeping up with technology, you also can learn to show awareness. As customers become more informed about socially conscious things, ensure you move with the time. But also listen to their feedback, read reviews, but encourage communication, ongoing communication. If they raise a problem, solve it, because that is, remember, the key to being in business. Now, we've talked about so many lessons in solving the problems of the customer, which brings us nicely to our special guest. Rachel Nelson is here. She's an award-winning designer in her studio, and we are so excited that she is transforming both residential and commercial spaces. So, Rachel, welcome. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you guys. I'm honored to be a part of it today.
So, I'm sure you know all about problem solving for your customers, right?
Yes, I am always of the mindset to be solution oriented.
So, what lessons has your customers taught you about this process of framing a problem and solving it? So, it's not just decorating, but here's the problem. Now you're solving it. What lessons have you
Yeah,
learned?
I love that. It is 100% not decoration. That is not what we do. So we are all about being design strategists. And so for us as Concetti, that means that we are working with clients and helping empower, especially business owners, how to utilize design as a business strategy. It is not decoration. It is not painting a wall, your accent color. That is like 1% of what we do. It is all about understanding who is your client, who are your is what I like to ask our clients. Who are your clients, but who are your employees, and how might we create a built environment that is supportive of both? And so it is through that that we get to work incredibly closely with clients and learn what it is that their people need to do their job really, really well, and what their vision is of the desired experiences for their clients. And so when we're able to truly understand how we're trying to solve for a true function, that's when I think we have the greatest success in design.
Awesome. Rachel, can you talk about human centered design and how you provide design solutions, et cetera?
Yeah, so human-centered design, I think simply it can be a buzzword, but like simply put, it's all about you. It's all about the people we're designing for. And so especially working with a fellow business owner in their brick and mortar, what we're going to want to do and understand is ultimately who are we designing for? And again, we break it up into who is helping bring your vision to life, aka your
Okay.
staff, versus who are we trying to provide a brand experience for. And so once we understand who it is that we're designing for, then we break it down into what I like to call journey mapping. So then we walk through what is the journey that they're going to experience. Where do they park their car? What door do they enter? What are they bringing with them? Where do they set their personal items so they feel like they are safe? Where does your staff have check in? What do they need to do their job successfully? And when you walk through that, we actually overlay that journey map onto a floor plan. And that's when we can really start to find inefficiencies or really great efficiencies that are working well. But to educate other business owners that the built environment is going to dictate how people move and interact in space. And when we can support the experience we're aiming to deliver, well, then you have a much happier employee, and hopefully a much happier client as well. So human-centered design is truly understanding who we're designing for and what do they need.
That's wonderful. How wait, Emmanuel, how does that fit with feng shui? I mean, is there a relationship between those 2 or no?
Honestly, I personally don't follow feng shui, so I don't
Okay,
know. Yep.
okay.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about a process called quantitative analysis.
Mhm,
And it is a process of taking environment where humans and you are creating tangible values where you can get a particular outcome, not
mhm,
using charts or graphs or numbers, but tangible assets like values, value
mhm.
system, honesty, integrity, perseverance, inspiration. All of those different things are quantitative um, analysis in a way where they're intangible, but they're so very important and they can create so great outcomes. And I think that people that have groups that you're working with or employees that you're trying to
Mhm.
develop and you care about them, it's really important to inspire them to those type embrace those type of values so it can be a win-win situation all the way around.
100%. What you're describing is what I like to call like aligning your vision and value system into your brand, because I think that's my biggest piece of advice to fellow business owners. I think design is incredibly misunderstood and often equated to decoration, but design is problem solving, and design is a way of saying, how might we, like creating a hypothesis, how might we make this the best coffee shop anyone's ever come to? How might we make sure employees feel empowered to do their job well, right? Like it is understanding how um, pieces come together to deliver an experience, but a lot of it is what gets lost is if you don't capture your value systems and putting them into a brand identity. And brand identity is so often just equated to a Pantone color and a logo. Like that's again 1% of it. It's how you make people feel. It's the experience you want to deliver. It's the heart. It's all of that behind it. And as an entrepreneur, we run with a lot of heart and grit and courage to follow our dreams. And so making sure that that heart and grit doesn't get watered down um in is so essential to capture it in the brand identity, because now the brand identity becomes what it is that we're going to all be referencing the same exact PDF when we're making decisions about the interior environment, when we're making built environment, when we're making decisions about socials, your website, your HR policies should all be coming from that same guiding light. So I
So
love that.
so tell me this.
Wow.
Tell me this. Tell me when you go and then you have a client and it really all starts at the top. You know,
Hmm.
it is the vision of and the core value of the
Yeah.
head. And when you start to see the process on the inside, and the
Hmm.
problem is the head, not necessarily the people that's working under them. How is
Yeah.
it? How do you go in and say, wait a minute, there's a lot of inconsistencies and there's a lot of things that's going on this particular level. But the reason why it's going on this particular level is because at the top, y'all ain't doing what y'all supposed to do, and y'all need to change some of the things about yourself.
Yeah,
Ouch.
well, I know. I was like, "Oh, man." Yeah, I think for us, It's really interesting because from our perspective, we end up typically working obviously with the top, like
Yeah.
the visionaries, the leaders. They're the ones deciding to move forward with the project. They're the ones signing the contract. They're the ones typically sitting in on the meetings. And so what I like to talk to with our clients, the decision makers, if you will, is getting a conversation going around how are we going to involve the rest of the team. So we actually worked with a flower shop out in Ann Arbor and sat with the owner and the decision maker, the one who ultimately has the say so, to make sure we're understanding that vision. But then when we were got through our discover process, then we were able to pull in um, people from the staff to get their feedback on it, and where are there inconsistencies, and where is there something that you ultimately need to address. This person, ultimately the best people to speak to are the ones who are doing the work, not even just the person who, oh, this must be what their job is. It's like you have to walk in their shoes. So I always say you got to get buy-in. You got to talk to the people that you're designing for, because we can say hypothetically one of the floral designers, this is what it looks like. But if you don't do that job, you really need to sit with them and listen to what their pain points are, and that, oh, I didn't know that that was important, an important part of the experience to deliver. And so it really is helping bridge the gap between what the vision is and the people who are actually executing it. There needs to be checks and balances in it.
Yeah. Your mission statement emphasizes we create space that becomes you. Tell us more.
Mhm.
More details, please.
Yes, absolutely. So that really just comes down to trying to shatter, like a belief that people have perceived that interior design is decoration, and it's not. It should be so deep. Interior design, or we call ourselves design strategists. Ultimately, we are here to solve for you and for your life or your business goals. And so we ultimately will create a space that becomes you, that is becoming of you, but is also becomes you as a reflection of who you are. And so it is so important that we jumping the gun on design, instant solutions, what should go here, tell me this, da da da. It's like, that's all the surface stuff. Like, that's all the stuff that I'm like, that's decoration, that stuff can wait. Who are you? What's important to you? Who lives here? Who works here? What is the vision that we're trying to deliver? And then making sure we solve. So it is a tagline that was very intentional to hopefully get people to kind of think a little bit more deeply about space is ultimately an opportunity for self-expression.
I'm glad we're talking about this because this is like really, really interesting. And I think a lot of businesses become stagnated because they can't get beyond a certain point because they're so attached to maybe a relative that is not good for their business anymore, or they're
Mm.
attached to certain people that they have relationships that they don't want to get rid of. And those are the people who is creating the issue. Entrepreneur is sort of like a garden. You have to constantly prune. You have to constantly change. You have to constantly, and it's really, really important that sometimes you have to make sacrifices dealing with certain people that you just have to get rid of them in order to continue to grow. So
Ooh,
how do you help businesses in those type of situations get beyond those type of situations?
oh
She's a
gosh,
problem solver, not a miracle worker.
I know. I was like, my gosh, I love this. Honestly, I would say um, being a design strategist, right? Like, I think what we indirectly do. Like, I'm not going to be like, hey, your business partner is not cutting it anymore. That's likely not me, but I can tell you as a fellow entrepreneur, my friend, that question just pulls on my heartstrings. I actually just was able to moderate a panel at CreatorCon this past weekend, and for a founders discussion. And it was a really beautiful topic that one of the panelists brought up was saying, like, I feel like I've been pruning my business this year. And I was
Mm.
like, oh my gosh, I love that. So it's really serendipitous that it's come back to you using that same descriptor, because I feel had to do that a lot this year too. However, back to how do I do that in my professional role? I think it really comes down to in that thorough discover process. So often people are like, gosh, this is so much deeper than what I think interior design is. I'm like, because it is, because we're going deeper than interior design. We're really getting into helping you utilize design as a business strategy, capturing that vision and documenting your value system. And I think it's through that creating a brand identity guide, because we don't just do interiors, we do branding. So we do branding and interior design. The power of that document, though, is now that you have it documented, these are my value systems, and this is what my vision is. It helps you now have a tangible thing to measure the people around you by. And that's what I help business owners. It never fails during this process. They cry. They're like, I feel so seen. Oh my God, I never blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all we're doing is holding up a mirror back to who they are. And they're a lot of times very happy tears. They feel seen. They feel heard. They feel validated. And that's ultimately what we want. And then I say, well, now this helps you when you go to hire somebody. Now you know, how might I, right? Using that hypothesis statement, how might I create an HR with my HR team, a hiring process that helps me attract people with this value system, with these value sets, right? Like, I just think that indirectly, it really, if you utilize the deliverable, it really will help create consistency and making sure that your vision doesn't get watered down. And more importantly, maybe help you see or the red flags of the people or things that no longer serve you.
Well, it's really interesting, and because I'm looking at you now in a total different way, and I'm looking at you more so
Yeah,
as
as a miracle worker.
no, as a therapist, because
No,
when
I
you talk
know.
about pruning, not only are you pruning people, but you got to also look at removing those stories that you've been telling yourself all of these years that haven't been getting you anywhere. You have to start to look at and prune those subconscious, unconscious
Yes.
pain and unforgiveness thoughts and all of those different things. So you really going deeper. You start to go deeper and deeper and trying to remove that to be the person that you were intended to be from the inside out.
Manuel, you have me goosebumps over here. Like, these are the type of conversations like that I can't get enough of. And I've heard people say, and I love it, is that business is is a spiritual journey, and it holds up a mirror ultimately to yourself, and it makes you confront your limiting beliefs of scarcity and validation and people pleasing and all of these things that that's why founders and entrepreneurs are a rare breed, because we keep showing up even when it's hard, even when you have to like confront those scary limiting beliefs that you'd much rather just not have to deal with. Like, it makes you confront them, and it's only through confronting them that you see the lesson, and then there's that personal growth. So yeah. um,
That was beautiful. That was
I
beautiful.
know. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. So we talked
we got
earlier about customers love to be loved. And of
Mhm.
course, that includes employees as well. And I was glad that you had brought that up earlier, that it's not only the customer experience, but it's the employee as well. What do they do?
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit more about that? Because now you have to bridge those two together.
Yes. Oh, I'll give you some more details. No, one of my favorite success stories is Good Cakes and Bakes. Are you guys with the bakery
Yes.
and district of
Yes.
Detroit? I love them.
Uh-huh.
So April and Michelle are the owners, and just incredibly beautiful humans. And we were honored to work with them through the renovation of their location, their original location. And through this, what we were able to do was truly understand through journey mapping, what does this baker do? Where do they go? Where do they put their stuff down? Where do they, clock in? How do they pull out the ingredients? Where do they set them? And we mapped it out. And it was through doing that that we realized some strong inefficiencies. And so then the first thing is identifying it. Wow, this seems like a lot of steps. This seems like a lot of in and outs. This seems like there's a lot of frustration that could build from not having the things right at your fingertips. And it was like, well, how might we rework some of the equipment layout? And it was through a couple seemingly simple switches, but allowed us to keep the bakers in one area and only exit the kitchen to a newly designated shipping room where they would put the finished cake or baked good into the blast freezer, for it to be prepared to then ship out. And now that blast freezer is located in the shipping area, right? But then not in the kitchen, and vice versa. The kitchen refrigerator that they needed all the ingredients is not in a different room. It was just such a simple switch, and it was just one example. But what it does is that it highlights just by simply going through the standard operating procedure of what this person is doing and laying it over the built environment was not supporting that SOP, if you will. And so by simply rearranging a few things, it was really cool because April and Michelle were able to share with us that their cost of went down in relation to their revenue because of a more efficient workflow. They were able to be more profitable. And then their employees were also able to have a smoother journey and less frustrations in their day to day because they felt more supported. So I think that's like one of the most beautiful, tangible examples of how such a simple thing has such a beautiful ripple effect.
Oh, absolutely. That was beautiful. It for some reason it just keeps ringing in your design strategy because you're
Yes.
strategists. You got some Lean Six Sigma things going on. I mean, you're figuring out inefficiencies along the process, but it's in the planning phase, and in some cases,
Mhm.
planning
Mhm.
came after, meaning
Mhm.
the business owner already had it set up. And then you
Yes.
came in and found some inefficiencies later on. That's
Yes.
that's pretty unique.
Yes, and I think that that's the other thing from a fellow entrepreneurial standpoint. Like, I mean, I've been in business 11 years. We just turned 11 last week, and
Congratulations.
thank you. But it is what we have coined at Concetti internally, we call it continuous improvement. It is
Mhm.
this constant, on a monthly basis, we sit down in departments and we say what's going well and where are pain points and how might we address these pain points. I think we shouldn't stop being curious because technologies shift our team shifts. And I always say it's our best first guess. Like a new policy, a new system, a new whatever is our best first guess. And if we just keep doing our best first guess for 10 years, even though we have all of this data and information coming in, that there's an easier way, a more efficient way. I think that that is one of the things that I know Concetti does really, really well. And I'm very proud of because it's a whole team effort.
Yeah.
It's everybody. And I say when you're hired in, I go, I expect you to help us find ways to make improvements. I expect you to find if there is an inconsistency between an SOP and what we're actually doing. Because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that what we are doing is captured properly for the next person who comes in. Do
Mhm.
something your future self is going to thank you for. You're going to
Yeah.
be really happy when that new hire comes in and they have the right SOP because they're going to do it right the first time. But I think just from a human journey, like, don't you want to walk into clear SOPs to a new job? So I get caught up on things like that. But as a business owner, reevaluate what's working and perhaps what's not, and don't be afraid to think through how to make changes, but they can be small. Like we have email templates before things get sent out to clients, and it's just like, oh, we should probably include, you know, a photo of the front door if they've never been to our space before,
Yeah.
because it's an industrial area and sometimes people have a hard time finding the front door.
Yeah.
That's just such a small process improvement piece for that continuous improvement. Let's go ahead and throw a photo of the front door so people feel more empowered. It's
It's the
just,
simple things.
yeah.
It's just that's just so simple, but it makes a major difference. I'm sorry I cut you off. Go ahead, Rachel.
No, I was just going to keep going. I get so excited about predicting people's behaviors and utilizing being a creative, and design is my gift, my purpose, if you will, um, is making sure I am using my art, my talent, my gift to support people and in this journey. So,
Well, simplicity and creativity becomes very complicated when you bog down as an entrepreneur and you're dealing with the daily grind. You throw simplicity out the door. You
yeah,
throw the very things that you need that is so obvious to somebody else, which is a different set of eyes, especially like you, Rachel, that can come in with a professional set of eyes. And here
Yeah.
I am, I'm in the back. I'm just grinding and trying to make my bills. I'm trying to make sure we meet payroll. You lose yourself. And that's one of the things that I say is that you lose yourself in that role. And a lot of times it can be very destructive to your life.
100%. You need to make sure that you are working on your business, but on yourself. Like this was something a couple years ago. My husband was getting his doctorate in educational leadership with a focus on DEI work. And
Yeah.
we were just doing all the things. We had a lot going on while working. He working full time. Um, and I was like, we need to make sure we take care of ourselves, then show up for each other, and then show up for work and school and all those other things,
Yeah.
because it's so easy to flip those priorities: work, school, this, that. Maybe we check in with each other and then we're left at the bottom, but you have to really focus in on knowing what your own needs are, especially as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, being intentional about it. So we talked earlier about evolving with the customer and Moxie by
Yes.
Concetti, which you just launched in
Yeah.
August 2025. So tell us a little bit about scaling and staying true to your purpose while scaling.
I love that. Yeah, a lot of thought and intention went into what is the brand, how do we message this, et cetera, position it to receive the right messaging. And ultimately, Moxie is the the baby of Concetti. It is an extension thereof. That's why we intentionally called it Moxie by Concetti. But ultimately it really came down to allowing and having an offering that is dopamine decor. So think about like things, home decor items that just get you excited, and from a beautiful candle, a tray, um uh an art print that really speaks to you, that you're like, gosh, I just love that. And it's every time it's displayed in your home, you walk by and it gives you a hit of dopamine. This is the idea. And so I am so passionate about the idea that built environment is an opportunity for self-expression. It's an extension of your energetic field. You should feel like you're coming home to yourself every single day. But what if hiring a interior design team, a design strategy team isn't in the cards for you right now, right? For
Mhm.
whatever that reason is, we just want to make sure people can still have that experience in a more approachable way, purchasing a candle, an art print, etc., versus hiring us to do a whole part of your home. And so with that, we were able to partner with like Line Studio Detroit, which is an incredible concrete maker in St. Clair Shores. And we made a custom concrete tray, and it says Detroit deserves good design. And I partnered with Applewood Candle Co., who's also a local candle maker, to create a customized scent with a wood wick and a pyrite crystal, pyrite symbolizing and carrying the energy of abundance because Detroit deserves an abundance of good design. And so it was a passion project for sure. And we're just getting started. And for me, it was in Concetti, our brand persona is actually called Genuine Moxie. And so when people join the Concetti
Ah,
team, I like to tell them this is who Concetti is. We are bold, but we are loving. We advocate for our client with kindness and respect. Like there's this balance of this duality. And so when it came to Moxie, it's called Moxie by Concetti because of that persona. And I wanted to pull it directly from that brand identity because it is our guiding light.
Oh, that's wonderful.
wow, that just sounds so beautiful. So, what lessons has the customer taught you that will shape your business for the future? Let's say the next 5 to 10 years.
Mm, I love that. I would say the first thing that I instantly go to is everyone wants to feel seen and heard. Such a simple concept, but such a powerful one. And I think that when we take the time to truly get to know who our client is and we see them and we hear them, we validate their experience. The more we can do that, the more trust is built between us
Yeah.
as the professional and them, and from a genuine place. Like I care that um, dog is sensitive to sound and needs a special area in your home. I care that you value inclusivity in your workplace and want to make sure that there are non-binary bathroom signs. Like I care, I hear you, I see you. And as silly as it may sound, that is maybe not silly, as simple as that may sound, at the end of the day, people really truly want to be seen and heard. And I think that's the biggest lesson through all of it and through all of our different business offerings. If we can figure out how to do that for people, I think that that's one of the most powerful things we can do.
Well,
Agreed.
Rachel, I just want to thank you for your light and your light of love.
Thank you.
Um, and the world that we're living in is the simple thing that makes the big difference.
Mhm.
And as those are those things, those entrepreneurs like you and I, who
Yeah.
not just in it for money, but in it to make a difference and to shine our
Yes.
light. Um, I think that that is so um, important to purpose and growth and why you are here on this planet.
Well, you make me cry. I appreciate that. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity for today to bring us together into the same room,
Yes.
virtual room, because I feel like we should know each other on an
Yes.
even deeper level. Like our talk about like attracting like, and when you shine your light bright, that it attracts the right people, right? And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
thank you for being who you guys are and holding this container because I too am very pleasantly surprised, like very honored to be a part of this. But the level of heart and depth that you bring to these conversations, I am very grateful for.
Oh, Rachel, thank you so much. One more question. Your roots are
Yes.
in Detroit. You have multiple generations of business ownership. What lessons have been passed down to you?
Ooh, that is such a good question. I would say, from my grandfather specifically, he promised me, it was the last conversation we ever had, to be an artist. He said, that is who you are. Don't ever forget who you are. And so that was implanted in me from my grandfather. And for my dad is, I'm getting so emotional.
I
Uh,
know.
my dad is such a kind, beautiful human, and, he's funny. But he always took care of his staff. If somebody's car broke down, he'd drive them. He always buys them pizza at the end of the week, like it was, taking care of people. So, thank you for that question. Didn't
Yeah,
expect
that
much
is
of a
really
movement.
important. And it goes back. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care, which
Yeah,
that is generations of caring. It's just in you.
yeah.
is what you do. So, Rachel, we want to thank you so much. We have learned a lot from this conversation, what our customers teach us, and a whole lot more. So,
And a
it
whole
is just amazing. Yes,
yes,
Emmanuel.
thank
No, I just want to just reiterate that we are on this journey together,
Mhm.
and physically we don't know each other, but spiritually we've always connected.
Yeah.
So whether we consciously or physically know each other or not, we are on the same path together, and
Yes.
that is a path of love, and that's a path of purpose. And I think that's where all of your blessings flow from. I think
Yeah.
that's what the purpose of life is really all about. So I just want to thank you for your beauty and being on our show, and your heart, and all of the things that you're doing to make contributing to the planet.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you. This podcast definitely celebrates passion and purpose, and you have both in abundance. So thank you so much, Rachel. Okay, Rachel, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Concetti.studio, not .com, Concetti.studio is our website, and there is a contact us form. We also are very active on Instagram. So our handle is at Concetti Studio. And if you want to get in touch with me directly, my Instagram handle is at Rachel Nelson _444.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're so excited. This particular podcast about more details, please. Rachel, you have brought so much to our listeners and so much to us in particular. So we are so happy to have you on. This is just the beginning, so don't you worry. We will definitely be in touch so we can get to know each other on an even deeper level. So thank you so much for joining more details, please. Today, we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to More Details, Please, presented by Emmanuel and Angela Williams from Detail Experts, the mobile steam cleaning company dedicated to protecting the planet. Be sure to subscribe to More Details, Please on your favorite podcast platform. You can also follow us on Facebook at Detail Experts and visit detailexperts.net. That's DETAILXPERTS.net. We hope you've gained some valuable insights from our conversations today. Stay driven by curiosity, and we'll bring you more details next time.